We here ready to rock and roll. It's your boy, the one and only Stock Sniper. Good morning. We wake up to good news this morning.
Have a federal policy that favors Waymo's technology over.
They're trying to push out that robo-taxi. Uh-oh. They're trying to push out that robo-taxi. As we get ready for CPI report.
I think that you've got. I want to test.
Wait.
All right, and again, just to make it clear, at the time after the tweet
CPI
him, and I said to you,
balls.
Don't own it. Well,
we got good news on CPI, guys.
Why? Okay, because when I saw that it didn't go down,
we got good news
on this vicious series of sells. When I saw
U.S.-China deal is supposedly has been reached. So let's see what we got going on today. Appreciate you for rocking with me. I'm your host, the one and only Stock Sniper. Yeah, we crunked this morning. We got 9 minutes before the market opens. I'm forgetting to do what I'm supposed to do, which I need to do it right now while I'm talking. That's the good thing about it. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. We're trying to put in this work bright and early. I went to sleep really early yesterday. And I'm ready to rock and roll. Yeah, I'm wide up. Yeah, I'm wide up, guys. Elon Musk. Those robo-taxis that I've been talking about, Elon Musk is back at work. They finna push them robo-taxis out. Yeah, it's going down. It's going down right now. Tesla. With the futures responding nicely to CPI and the president's with the push about the handshake again. Everything is going good. CPI report was really good this morning. We got a good report on CPI and a possible China-US deal possibly done. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. We're getting ready to rock and roll. Let me get back here. That CPI push brought us up on NVIDIA right up to 145. On the S&P 500, got us up to 106. We're getting close, guys. We're getting close to what, Stock Sniper? All-time highs. That's what we're getting close to. We're getting close to the all-time highs. Y'all see, we right there. All-time highs is right at this top red line. We finna get ready to break all-time highs on the S&P 500. The overall stock market. We're getting there, guys. NVIDIA is at 143, which I think we have about, let's see. We got to get about $10 more left on NVIDIA to get up there to the all-time highs. So we're getting ready. We're getting there. Everything is going great. Big recovery in the stock market. Big recovery on Tesla. See, I told y'all guys, whenever Trump and Elon fell out, it went all the way down to 273. Now look, I told y'all when they talking about Elon Musk lost 34 billion. Now look, they're not saying that it's recovered. They're not saying that Elon Musk is not 34 billion in the hole no more. They're not saying that. Look. We back up to 325. A small type W shape, but I call it a V-shaped recovery. Just like that on Tesla. Great news today on Tesla. They're starting to roll out the robo-taxis. They're starting to roll out those robo-taxis, which is great news. See, Elon was doing Donald Trump a big favor, guys. He was doing Donald Trump a big favor by doing what? Going to help him with the administration. He was doing him a big favor. And actually, his businesses kind of lost a little momentum because he chose to go help. Shout out to Elon Musk. So now it's back to business as usual. I'm not supposed to go over here.
That CPI print moved yields, as you can see.
Let me see.
Around 4.5, dropped down now to about 4.43.
So Trump is really going to be pushing for the Fed to start cutting rates. Now he's really going to start pushing for the Fed to start cutting rates. That's what's going to happen. We got 5 minutes left before this market open. Let's see what's going to happen today. Microsoft, did I bring my water? Yes. Microsoft is red. Amazon is red. Bitcoin is up to 109. Okay, so let's get it. We're here now.
I was diagnosed with peripheral artery disease. I needed surgery to restore blood flow to my legs. Later, I found out smoking also caused my kidney cancer, and I needed surgery.
We're here now, guys. We got 5 minutes left before this market open. We ready to rock and roll. Great news on CPI. Great news. So we ready to rock and roll. All right, I got everything set up. Let me get this going.
Ensuring that marketing continues to lead from a purpose perspective is at the core of everything that we do.
So we ready to rock and roll. 3 minutes before this market open. We got support right here. We got resistance right up here at 145.30. And if you just not joined, wow, look at that big jump, Stock Sniper. Yes, we had a good news on CPI data. What's next? Let's see what's next. Share this instead. We're going to look at the CPI. What's today is Wednesday. Okay. We had Consumer Price Index come out and CPI year over year. Next is, well, we had everything come out. Next is monthly U.S. federal budget. Tomorrow is a big day. Tomorrow we got initial jobless claims. Producer Price Index. Core PPI. Tomorrow's a big day as well. And then next week, let's see. Next week, look, next Wednesday, June 18th. Housing stats, initial jobless claims. FOMC interest rate decision. We got a big day next Wednesday. We got to circle this right here. Will the Feds drop interest rates? Because we got good news. Inflation is dropping, guys. Inflation is dropping. So, will the Fed, Jerome Powell, will he drop interest rates next week? So we got a big week ahead of us. We got a big week. Let me get back over here to where we need to be. All right, here we go. We got 1 minute before this market open. Right on time, guys. Right on time. I think I got to go out here and run early because I think it's going to rain. So I ain't going to be here that long. I got to go get my running out of the way with the walk down. Good morning, the Don. Good morning. Appreciate you for joining me. So we're getting ready. I got to try to get this over with. I got to get my running out of the way before it starts pouring down raining.
There's a report that General Mills is considering selling some of the China Haagen-Dazs business.
So we're getting ready. We up under the VWAP as we speak. We're a little bit up under the VWAP. We are below support. There goes the market. It's open.
The president just talked about reopening trade with China. Strange time to be exiting, is it not?
Let's go. Lower shadow. Let's look and see what's gonna happen. We're above the VWAP. We're back above resistance, which is support. Okay, here we go. Moving on up.
It's clearly where people want to go. People do want to find the next NVIDIA. It may not be out there because NVIDIA is really pretty special. But I don't blame anyone for
moving on up. Let's get it.
1990s like market. Last night I spoke to Chuck Robbins. He is positioning himself as being now the backbone of the internet with AI. And it reminded me very much about John Chambers being the backbone of the internet. You began to get Cisco having its big move, but you also know, David, remember the customers of Cisco, the telcos. It's got a little
we're back up under the support.
I think. So you think there's a lot of momentum? Lasts for a long time. The copper mountains last for a long time. Yeah.
Back up under the VWAP.
Make a lot of money, and then they end. And what we can do
S&P 500
realize that not all of these companies are created equal.
is dumping.
More equal than others.
It's already raining, guys.
Had a very strong year in the market now.
Well, I gotta get out there and get my 6 miles in. So today I might have to just do it in the rain like I did yesterday. I ain't tripping though because it cools you off really, really well. I don't mind running in the rain. Been running in 100-degree heat. Gotta get it in regardless.
Where you can make queries and actually build real-time dashboards in their querying Splunk, their querying.
Okay, now we at the support.
And the whole vision was that we could bring all that.
Trying to move it back on up.
And we launched a major part of that today at Cisco Live.
Back at.
It's interesting, Carl. In the old days, there would be 15 companies involved.
We're back at the VWAP.
Now it's not like that because Cisco.
Can we get back above 145?
Take a shot at GitLab.
Can we get back up here above 145 and keep it pushing?
David, I don't know. You don't know. I said I don't know. Okay, I'm just the value added of me saying I told you numerous times. I'm here to repeat what you say back to you. That's my role. I am a robot. I repeat what I say. Although, here I was. You cost $65,000. I was up with a new idea for you. Not new idea. This Talon Energy today was actually looking up a lot in the pre-market. Not up much now at all. But they signed another deal. This is all part of our continued coverage of AI in so many different ways. Whether it's NVIDIA or whether it's OpenAI or whether it's power for the new data centers that have yet to be built but are going to be by the likes.
Can we break down or what's going to happen right here, right now?
Pennsylvania. Well, you need power for that, don't you? Pittsburgh Bell. And
we're building support.
New power purchase agreement with Amazon that is tailing. I came out hard favor almost 2,000 megawatts at their Susquehanna site. Amazon Web Services. They deliver by 2032 through 2042. So again, these are long-term plans, long-term projects. But of course, you need the power to power all the stuff that's going to be creating this age of abundance that is apparently coming, according to Sam Altman. And that will include a lot of energy. Yeah, you're going from 2.5 growth to now 5.
Back at support again.
Energy just saying, listen, we do not have enough turbines. But anybody who has some turbines is going to work. I recommended Talon last night as part of a wholesale.
Back at support again.
Yeah, I did. Oh, wow. Interesting. I said, yeah, Talon was a good one. Look, they're nuclear as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm capitulating on the idea that we need more power. There's nothing I can do. Anyone who's in it. Now, it's G. Vernova.
It's the exact chart I just pulled up, Jim. Not more to talk about the backdrop of some momentum softening yesterday.
Yeah.
CoreWeave, some other names.
Vernova was one of those moments where I said, it's just a big rollover because it's had such a boom. These are all parabolic moves. At the same time, there isn't a day goes by that people don't say, I need more power. And GE Vernova, by the way, is not building new plants to build it. They're not doing that because everybody's been burned so many times. And yet, this is, boy, I won't, but I think this is the time you want to do it. I think you got to build out here. This NVIDIA cannot save 145 to save its life. It just can't. 145 is a readout. It can't get there.
They're saying NVIDIA can't get to 145. That's what Kramer just said.
Getting religion on AI compute, their capacity.
That boy said NVIDIA can't get to 145.
2 years, and that's on a week where Blackstone committed more money to Europe, and Netflix committed more money to Europe.
Taiwan Semi was the proxy. As that went up, you could buy NVIDIA. David,
that's what Kramer just said.
Is that an NVIDIA chip be part of the package?
The package of a trade deal with the EU?
Yes, that's all people care about. I think that's a big mistake. There's much more to it than that, but that is the focus.
Still very much unclear where our negotiations with the
Did that make the market drop?
Best I can remember was the Truth Social post from the president with some serious threats in it.
We did hear from, I think, one EU official today.
Because he said that.
By the 9th, but a full deal is going to take more time.
The appellate court went with the president. It's got to go to the Supreme.
Yes, he still has the power under the law that they are currently using to assert that there's an emergency to impose these tariffs.
Now,
but it will be, I think it's the end of July that court is going to make a real decision.
But it's the Supremes are going to have to decide.
Yeah, they may come to the Supreme Court as well. But keep hearing it's India. It's South Korea. Those are the ones that are seen to be quite close in terms of deals, Carl. I don't know, though, what that really means.
Do you think that's why the market could be so buoyant that people expect deals? Get deals, people buy?
I mean, there is a notion that the next 3 years will just be a series of good constructive talks and deferrals and exemptions and framework deals.
Well,
but as long as it's not a 10% plus average rate, then who cares?
I agree. Look, all I want us is to be as good as the European countries. And I think the president uniquely must be saying, are you kidding me, Spain? We can be every bit as good as Spain.
But July 9th is not that far away.
No.
Again, it's, as I'm very good at counting usually on calendar. And that's when everything's supposed to go back up. The night,
So you're
how come the market is not? What doesn't seem to be a concern.
Not at all.
Trying to build support.
Wells today does
Right here.
Some more, at least frameworks by the 9th, then expect some more volatility. You disagree with that?
I think that I had this fellow I had this 100X on the other day. It's this spin-off of basically Goldman.
A spin-off of what?
It's a guy who was a partner at Goldman, Rob Pace.
100X?
It's called 100X. It's a research firm.
Yes.
All right. And these numbers that talk about how people are actually getting much more sanguine, that they're getting much happier.
Trying to build a support right here.
In this market, I think there's a level of hope that we haven't had this year. Because July 9th will come, and it'll either go with a promise of extension, or
we'll have deals. Actually,
right. Two upper shadows right there at the 9.
Stanley Financials Conference this week.
Yes.
Jamie Dimon would not be a buyer of credit here. Citi yesterday adding to some loss provisions. Comerica is on the tape now. Some deposit trends have not been all that positive.
But look, let's go the other way. Capital One, which is the larger issue of credit cards for people who are questionable credit. Hold on, now with Richard Fairbank, who's a lot smarter than we are. I mean, that stock is breaking out here. That's after the merger with Discover Financial. I still think that they can come up with a credit card that does not charge.
Overall market is doing good right now.
Right. Interesting.
Let's see what the S&P 500 got going on.
No fee kind of things. What they're trying to go after.
Trying to catch a bottom to make a move above the 20 EMA and above the VWAP for the move on up on the S&P 500.
Or eToro. Although back back to the broader market, guys. I mean, yesterday was a terrible day for momentum names, such as a CoreWeave.
No, that's why I was really concerned.
I'm looking at there was a 3.5% sell-off in the momentum. That was first time since sort of 2016 you had that kind of a reversal.
People like
in what has been working, which is just buy because they keep going higher.
Well, what people wanted, frankly, was they're buying the transport, they're buying JB Hunt.
Say again?
JB Hunt. They're buying
JB
the
Hunt,
most
yeah.
pedestrian of things, which I've got to tell you is really rather amazing. Again, it's an indicator of people are very, very bullish. They think that there's going to be a return to trade, that they were too negative during this period. Look at Norfolk Southern. The run in Norfolk Southern is just breathtaking. I just think that we are so the opposite of where we were.
Now we have support again.
Liberation Day. Everything changed. Liberation Day turned.
We have support again.
We may look at Liberation Day and say, that was when they realized, wow, are we ever on the wrong
Let's see
track?
look at Tesla.
Now, I think the president would be reluctant to say that. Maybe he'd say Liberation Day was one of the great buying opportunities of all time.
Tesla's back above 330.
So there is that.
I know. Remember, David, when we were saying, look, it looks tough, and he said, buy everything?
Well, I was saying Tesla was going to recover
I don't know when I've seen a call
He's
like
got a
that.
future
within a
job at
week
Morgan Stanley
of what the breakup between
You think so? Yeah. I was thinking more Robinhood.
Trump and Elon.
And also, by the way, in crypto, he knows crypto markets very well.
Why?
Let's see.
Winklevoss. Why not?
Yep. We got some audience metrics.
We're up under support right now.
Looking at overall assets.
Let's see, 143. I got to change that because we did hit. I need to change this
Such a run.
back to green. Well, okay, we're up under the support.
They have a great IRA deal. If you switch over, man,
143.78.
Just sitting there thinking, how can I take away everybody under 30 from every one of the firms? And all the rest of the firms are saying, well, he won't get it.
My entry didn't get filled. Dang.
They are watching the
My entry didn't get filled.
Can we
I
get
was
to
going
earnings
for
report, which
a
is
short.
You definitely have talked about in the past.
But I was too late.
Getting hit today.
My entry didn't get filled.
After
143.71.
not being well received.
At 19, he called the bottom on the show.
Yeah, I didn't get filled on my entry. Golly.
It has had a big run. That is
Should I jump in and just
Amazon cheaper now? What can I say?
143.60? I missed my
We're
entry.
gonna ask him tonight.
Dang.
Well, I just think, look, he's done a remarkable job.
Oh, sorry, it's not.
I missed my entry. Okay, Big Lord Shadow. I got to go to Plan B now.
Adoption trends.
I got to readjust and get to Plan B.
There's a Chewy chart and then there's a Dave and Buster's chart, which is up to them.
Coming around.
Big Lord Shadow.
Frankly, about
143.60.
And how I fed NVIDIA using Chewy. It was one of the
Now we're talking about the dog. That can get very confusing for people.
Big Lord Shadow.
Look what NVIDIA
The
was
market
doing in
is starting to get
2017.
red now.
At 4 cents.
You're now
Dave and
past
Buster's
dog.
actually had a nice little run here. It's become a little bit more fat. Dave and Buster and Urban Outfitters are the two outliers. People forgot about them. They left them for dead.
Dang, I missed my entry, guys.
Urban gets upgraded over at Baird today.
I missed my
There's
entry.
a Target shareholder meeting, Jim.
On the short side.
Lulu, the PE at a
Guys.
decade low.
Lulu is Fiore. I think Lulu's really. I think I misjudged Lulu. I misjudged the competition.
Support is down here
There are a lot
143.50.
of other ones as well at low, and there's any number of these companies that
I
have
missed my
I
entry.
think Target has to really start making a statement
Dang.
that we're going to lower prices.
That's all
They
right.
haven't said they have low prices. They have to lower them.
I was looking for the short.
18. In the aisle. In every aisle, there has to be 2 or 3 items that are 2018.
The break of the support right here.
That's a rough chart. Jill,
I had an injury right here, but I pressed the button too late and didn't get filled.
relevant or not?
They have to get themselves relevant by having.
So now I got to readjust and look for my next entry,
It can happen.
which will be right around.
Target. I mean, it's.
I don't want to chase this.
There has been an activist there. Is there a play?
143.75.
The play is to lower the prices. That's how they have to do it.
Lower the
Right.
prices.
They have to. Now,
Just get more traffic.
I had an outfit on
We got
last night that
support.
has lowered the prices and is
143.50.
That's Casey General. Davis laughing.
Right
Casey
there.
General is a convenience
143.50.
store. Pizza that is darn good. The numbers are extraordinary. This stock has had incredible runs, up 25% for the year. Casey General is where people want to be. They only cater to rural territories.
Right.
right?
143.50 is the support.
Breakfast pizza.
Let me get this out of the
Sam
way.
Altman doesn't go there. You're not interested in it?
No, I'm not. I only
No.
listen to all things Sam Altman
I'm gonna move that up there. That's resistance.
How about Microsoft's
Move that up there.
Catalyst Watch, right? Is that where you're going,
We
Dave?
are below the EMAs. EMAs are pointing down.
Basically say Azure numbers are too low because of the
To the long side, I want us to get above 145. Kramer says we can't get above 145. So let's prove them wrong, guys.
People still love their families, express their creativity, play games, and swim in lakes. Swim in lakes. Me and you, Sam. I don't know. You must.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make us another resistance at that 145
I agree with you. All right, guys.
and make that line really thin. Right there, 145.
Actually, a piece of news which was out yesterday involving Meta.
Okay, let's get back to business. Long Lord's upper shadow.
You're part of it, believe me.
Kramer might be right. We might be headed all the way back down. 143.50 is strong support. 143.50. I missed my first entry. I missed it.
I think about it as time goes by.
15 minutes in. It's okay though.
They're coming. All right.
Because
And by the way,
we
on
only
that
been
note,
open for 15 minutes.
Wanted to get back
So
to
we
this
okay.
scale AI. I mean, it's what would be otherwise an enormous acquisition.
S&P 500
It's not obviously for the full
is
company.
now red.
9%, 14.3 billion, but perhaps even
Tesla.
more importantly, they take over a lot of the team.
Robo-taxi
including,
news.
Of course, the founder.
So
of Scale
Tex-
AI,
Te-
Alexander
Tesla
Wang, somebody I sat down
is
with
up
12 years
2%
ago
right now.
When he was even younger than he is now.
143.50.
At Milken, we were talking there. Now, this is a data
We broke the
labeling
support.
company, 100,000 contractors. They label images, they write sentences, type out stories that help the AI LLMs and chatbots
We
learn how
broke
to
that support.
and speak like humans.
Didn't Amazon
But he's-
have a good Amazon report
They
this?
might have, but he's now going to Meta. It's interesting because you could say, well,
There we
Meta's
go.
The overall company Scale AI is what, $28+
Ah.
billion. Wang, for his part's getting, I think, as much as $3 billion from this, but then he obviously
143.29.
the stump that's left.
We are below
He's not going to be
support
running
right
it
here.
And so what that's actually worth is far from clear at this point. They were on a $2 billion revenue run rate for this year, perhaps as much as double a year later, but that becomes less clear. They were in the midst of a tender for $150 million, but
143.29.
to tender for shares.
Upper shadow.
That's been canceled. And then, of course, there's the Meta.
There we
side.
go.
It's a big
Upper shadow.
acquisition, but it's not an acquisition, and it doesn't subject them to the regulatory scrutiny of an actual full-out acquisition.
So smart.
Jim, and yet they get this guy, they get
143.22.
and they own this company as a result. When it appears really what they wanted was him and what he's got.
Everybody needs to step up their game. I think that these models.
143.22.
Yes.
NVIDIA now. I'm telling you, this is.
We didn't mention Google reportedly offering some buyouts to search and advertising staff, or the journal piece about X
Breakdown.
threatening advertisers with a lawsuit if they don't buy ads on X.
Well, there you go. That's new. New, David. X.
What about X?
Linda Yackel.
More breakdown.
What about her? She's the CEO of X, yeah.
Threatening advertisers.
Yes. That's not the first time they've done that.
Take it.
My pen is from NVIDIA.
8% on that.
About $20.
I had to take it.
was free. I was going to walk
8%.
out. It's too much like this.
Seen the lower shadow
Sales.
and had to get out. 8% to the short side. That entry was perfect. I was waiting for the break of 143.50. I kept saying it over and over again. Strong support. 143.50. We break 143.50. I took my entry, rolled it all the way down. Seen this lower shadow, got out.
In just a few minutes.
Got out. 8% on that trade. To the short side.
At PGIM, finding opportunity in fixed income today helps secure tomorrow.
Great trade. The break of 143.50. We got a good red candle out of it. And then this next red candle looked like it was going to be a breakdown. But then we got the lower tail. And when we got the lower tail, I got out the position. Now we're back above the support line. Back above 143.50. Let's see what S&P 500 got going on. Back to NVIDIA. Getting back above the support. We're battling right there. We're battling. Okay. We're back above the support. We're still in bear territory though. We got to get back above the VWAP, which is 144.16. We're 20 minutes in. We got to get back above the VWAP. Once we get back above the VWAP, we will be back in bull territory. But right now we're bearish. We're in bear territory right now. Let's see if we can make it back on up above the VWAP. But we're back. Okay, 143.50 is support. Let's see what's going to happen. We are above the 9 EMA. We're above the 20, no, the 13 EMA. It's raining outside, guys. I guess I'm going to be soaking wet again, running my 6 miles. But I got to get that in. I got to put the work in every single day. Okay. We're trying to get above the 20 EMA. 2 lower shadows. That's not the 20, my bad. That's the 13. This the 20 right here that we're coming up to right now. Now we're above the 20. As we come up on 9 o'clock, we're above the 20 now. Let's see what's going to happen. One coming up to 144. Can we get back up to the VWAP? I'm just watching right now. I'm waiting to see if we're going to get back up to the VWAP, which is the red line. Can we get back up to the VWAP, which is above 144? Okay, the market is turning back green, except NVIDIA. I don't understand why NVIDIA is not basically running with Tesla. I don't understand why not. Look at Tesla. Maybe I should move over to Tesla. Tesla is above the VWAP. EMAs are pointing up. Yeah, let's go over there. Let's go to Tesla. Yeah, we're over here to Tesla now, guys. Tesla pullback. Let's see. Nvidia pullback. We're coming up on 9 o'clock. We got Nvidia pullback, Tesla pullback.
I get ready for a long-range trip by finding inspiration to begin with. Where do I want to go and why? You go away.
Tesla's up under the. Wait, what was I looking at a while ago? Oh, I was looking at the SPY. Whoa, I caught that. I caught that. I was thinking that this, man, I'm moving too fast. I was thinking that this was Tesla, but actually this was the SPY. That's Tesla. Tesla is
One is a buy for Uber and the other is a hold for DoorDash. If you didn't tell me that DoorDash was a hold, or you put your finger on the control, I'm doing this a lot lately. Yes, you would say this. You gotta buy it.
is on the downtrend.
Very, very compelling. Uber, stop worrying, stop fretting about the self-driving.
Tesla is on the downtrend.
These companies, I like both. I think DoorDash is terrific. It's going to be still a further consolidator. But these are
Let's see, Nvidia
along with Reddit, okay, along with Airbnb.
has slowed all the way down. We got 4 minutes before 9 o'clock. 4 minutes, guys. Let's get back to Tesla.
Okay, you know, I got a company. I mentioned it yesterday.
That's why it's very important that you look over what you got going on. Because if I wasn't looking over the charts and my setup, I would have basically entered into the wrong company, because I had my chart set up for the SPY, but I had my entries set up to Tesla. So if I didn't take my time and actually look, I would have entered into Tesla, but the chart would have been on the SPY. In other words, I'd have made a huge mistake as Tesla sells off. Yeah, I'd have made a huge mistake. That's why it's very important. Let me put that down so I can talk. If you're a new trader, it's very important to only have about 2 or 3 companies that you're actually watching for a day trade. You can't have 10, 15, right, companies that you're watching on a day trade, because you can make a mistake. Your chart can be on a specific company and your entry board can be on a totally different company. Like what I just did. I'm watching SPY, but I'm thinking it's Tesla, and on my entry board, I'm on Tesla, but I'm watching the SPY. Almost made a huge mistake. That's why you always got to double check your orders. You got to always double check. And the thing is about that, when you day trade, you got to be able to do that with a little bit of speed, right? You don't want to be pussyfooting on your orders. You got to be good. You got your eyes and your hands, you know, your Twitter fingers, like they say, you know, got to be on point. Your mouse fingers got to be on point when you entering and exiting these plays. You got to have the ability to read the chart and buy and sell on your entries and your orders at the same time. And that comes with practice. Hand and eye coordination. Yes. In stock trading, hand and eye coordination is very, very important. Just like on a video game, you got to be able to work the controller and you got to be able to watch the TV screen or whatever video game you're playing at the same time. This is very, very similar. So your hand and eye coordination skills got to be good. Just like if you're playing Madden, right? You're playing NBA on a video game, Fortnite or whatever the case may be. You can't be looking at the controller, right? You can't be looking at the controller. You got to be able to focus on what you're watching and work the controller all at the same time as hand and eye coordination. As we get above the 13 EMA. Here we go, guys. We're getting back up to the VWAP. Let's see what's going to happen. We're getting back up here to the VWAP. That's why gamers can turn out to be some of the best day traders, because they're good at doing this, right? They eyes already coordinated to watch the screen because they're used to playing video games all day. So a lot of gamers can be good day traders if they love the charts, right? But that's very, very important. You got to love reading these charts. And you got to love this 1,000% more than you love the money. Yeah, you got to love reading the charts. And why I say don't worry about the money. Worry about mastering chart reading, candle reading, the body English of the candle itself. You got to learn that. The body English. In each company, body English is different. You got to learn that. And that comes with time. Yeah, it takes time to shine. Upper shadow right at the VWAP. Upper shadow right at the VWAP. We're right at the VWAP. We're right at that VWAP. Rejected. Rejected at the VWAP. That'd have been a good short. The rejection of the VWAP would have been a good short. Let's see if we break through these EMAs. Yep, that would have been a good short. Keep going. Keep going. All right, now we got the lower tail. See if all right, the next candle. Keep going. Can we break the VWAPs? That's a good short right there. The rejection of the VWAP. Can we break these EMAs? It's going to be hard, but they are closed in together. Good breakdown. Good short right there if you took the rejection of that VWAP. You had the upper tail right here. The next candle was red, and we got up under the VWAP. That was a good entry to the downside. Big lower tail. Now see, if I was in this play, I would be getting out right now because of this lower tail. But we're still below the VWAP. We're still below the VWAP and the EMAs. So we're still kind of good. But I'd have got out. That's the high trade. High trade, I'd have got out already. We were doing what? Building higher lows. We're building higher lows. It's 9:05. You see me going and do it right now. I'm going to take it all the way up to the 143, to the green right there. Now let's see, can we get above the VWAP? We're building higher lows. Touch, 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 touch. We're above all the EMAs. Let's see if we can make a move above the VWAP to get back where? Into bull territory. But the big mark is, can we get back above 145? Can we get back above 145? Up.
Especially from Democrats, is on inflation, because we got the newest read on May inflation.
The break of the uptrend.
No inflation spike. Everything came in below consensus. I mean, this
The
is
break of the uptrend.
really happy with. Overall, the monthly gain of 0.1%, less than expected. No real inflation. Overall, core inflation.
Let's see what our boys down the street talking about.
Here's where some of the if you pull it out, where the sort of pressures come from: fuel oil, electricity, medical care, commodities, food away from home. So restaurants is still adding inflation, but still that was a smaller increase than we have seen in prior months. Look at this. So gasoline, we know. Used cars, negative numbers on inflation on the monthly read. Apparel, David, everyone was worried that the retailers were going to raise prices because of tariffs. Either not yet or not happening, because demand is soft. And that's going to be a debate. And I pulled out some of the favorite food items.
See?
I saw the most, at least, inflation on the month. So
did y'all hear what she just said? I say this every single day, guys. Spend less, right? If we're spending less money, there's no way they're going to raise the prices. And guess what they're doing? What she just said is that the CPI data was good because nobody's spending any money. Obviously, they've been listening to Stock Sniper TV. Spend less. That's economics 101. If I got products, right? If my inventory is stocked and nobody's coming to buy my product, guess what's going to happen? I have to lower my prices. That's the reason why tariffs have not affected us yet. Why, Stock Sniper? Because nobody's really spending any money. Everybody's been cutting back. And when that happens, they have to lower their prices. I got to lower my prices. If I'm selling hamburgers for $3, and okay, I want to raise it up to $3.50. But when I raise it up to $3.50, the customers say, oh, nah, I don't want to pay $3.50 for that hamburger. I'm going to sit at home. I'm going to make my own hamburger. Guess what I got to do? If my flow is not coming in, I gotta lower it back down to $3 or maybe even $2.80. And then tell the people, okay, we got to sell a 20% sale to get you back spending money. See, guys, what we got to understand is consumers control all of this. That's why I say every day, you got to get out of the consumer mindset. Because if you are in the consumer mindset that you got to have this, that, and the third, and you don't worry about the price, Like, if I gotta have this because I want it, I'm not looking at the price. I want this, I'm gonna grab it off the shelf and I'm gonna pay for it. Why? Because I gotta have it. But once we get out of that mindset and look at the price of everything that you go and buy, you know what? I really don't need this for $50. No, 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 no. I'm gonna leave it right there on the shelf. Guess what happens? The people that own the shops gotta lower the prices to move the product. The product doesn't sell unless the consumer is satisfied. And most of us consumers don't even pay attention to the price. Just like I seen a kid at the corner store the other day. He bought a 12-ounce soda for $3, bro. I told him, I said, youngster. He said, what, old school? I said, bro, don't you know you could have took that $3 and walked right over there to Kroger's and got a 2-liter for a cheaper price than that? And instead of drinking a 12-ounce soda, you could have been drinking sodas for multiple days. So we got to start thinking about these type of things, guys. Instead of buying that stuff at the corner store and you got to have a Sprite, go spend that same $3 at the grocery store and get a big old bottle. So let's see what else she's saying.
Some tariffs have been in place for a bit of time. And in 2019, one of the key takeaways from looking at category level data as the tariffs went into place was that the flow through happened.
We back above BY.
It's not unreasonable to say this was a soft print. This is good news. This leans a little bit toward a smaller effect. But I suspect Chair Powell will be comfortable saying it is still very early. Some of the tariffs that the White House...
He's going to look political if he does that. I mean, they don't want to look political, right? But if they're going to say it's really early...
I hope y'all seeing how predictable this stock market is. See, I've been talking about the VWAP. The buyers are not going to come in until we break this VWAP. Guess what happened? We're in bull territory now. We break the VWAP and get some good look. We get a push up. We are in bull territory now. We're not up under the VWAP. We are above the VWAP. So now what's going to happen? Buyers are starting to come in to push it up. Now we're at where? Resistance. We're at another resistance level. We got to get above the resistance. Let's keep listening to our buddies down the street.
We say this might be the last vestige of pre-tariff environments. Do you think that tone changes once we get past the blackout window?
Possibly. I think, again, this is a reasonable timing to expect to see tariff effects. It's just that 1 month probably isn't a good basis for drawing a firm conclusion on this. So I think if over the next 2 months we still haven't seen anything, then the lesson of 2019 would say, well, these things tend to show up pretty quickly. So if 3 months go by and you haven't seen much, then I think you'd probably meaningfully change your thoughts.
Right. And your general view has been there might be a one-time effect, but it would soften quickly because of demand destruction, yes?
That's right. That any tariff large enough to push inflation up quite a bit, make us anxious about inflation expectations, probably also large enough to soften demand. And I don't see particularly high prospects for a prolonged bout of high inflation in a weaker economy. This is also a much less intense inflation rebound that we think is coming than what we went through in 2022. So it should be a lot less scary than that experience.
I mean, if you look at some of I highlighted apparel because I thought that's where you would see it,
sure,
right? The most. It's where all the product is sourced abroad and they're paying higher rates. So how do you explain what's happening there? And could it be a symptom of weaker consumer demand where there's just more pressure on prices than pressure to raise prices?
Yeah. I would say our take from looking at the very detailed subcategories was mixed. You're right, apparel was softer, although there import prices had been down for quite a while. In other categories like appliances, it did look like they were somewhat above trend. That's another example of something where a lot of what we consume in the United States is imported and was subject to tariffs. So, mixed evidence. I wouldn't say there was zero effect, but maybe on the small side of what we're expecting in coming months.
You mentioned the labor market. Where do you think, trying to get your estimates for non-farm in the back half of the year. Bottoming around 80K, somewhere around there?
Yeah, I think we will see a continued slowing both for supply and demand reasons. We just had an enormous number of people coming into the country a year and a half ago. That meant more workers, more potential job growth. Immigration is down enormously over the last year and a half. So that's kind of the labor supply angle on all of it. And I suspect we will also see some softness in companies' interest in hiring amidst all of the tariff uncertainty. We're not penciling in anything catastrophic there, but I think that too will slow the rate of payroll growth.
Do you change your outlook for the Fed at all? 2 cuts now priced in more fully after today's report.
Yeah, our thinking is that the peak tariff effects will occur sort of from June to August. I think December is not too early, so that's our forecast. It's possible they could go earlier, but I suspect some of the more hawkish, more concerned Fed officials will want to see a little bit more kind of post-tariff calming down before they're willing to go ahead.
All right, David, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Really good to get your take first here on CPI from Goldman.
About 30 minutes into the trading session, 3 big movers we're watching today. NVIDIA shares hovering near some record highs. After a speech from Jensen Huang overnight at a tech conference in Paris, he said quantum computing is at an inflection point, announced a new partnership with a slew of telecom companies to build AI infrastructure there. Lockheed Martin under some pressure after the Pentagon slashed its request for F-35 planes in half, asking for 24 planes in its procurement.
You heard us say, the economy is softening. That's AKA people are starting to spend less money. People are starting to spend less money. So when people start spending less money, they can't go up on prices, guys. They can't do it. That's decent news.
Where this move could position Meta in, of course, that growing race for AI dominance.
And an out-of-this-world IPO, space company Voyager Technologies makes its debut here at the NYSE. CEO Dylan Taylor is going to join us live after the break as Squawk on the Street.
You might say, Stock Sniper, why they can't raise their prices? Because just think about it. If you got product and nobody's already buying it, people are starting, the foot traction of your customers are starting to slow. That don't make any sense to raise your prices, and the customers are already thinning out. That's what's going on. So that's how we counter inflation. That's how you counter prices starting to go up. How? By spending less money. The consumer has all the power. The consumer has all the power. And once consumers realize you have all the power, you dictate the prices, right? The consumer dictate the price of this remote control. If you're willing to give me $100 for this remote control, I'm gonna sell it to you. But if you're not willing to give me $100 for this remote, guess what's it going to do? It's going to sit right here. If I want it to move, I got to drop it down to $90 to see if I can get you to bite on it. If you don't bite on it on 90, I got to drop it to 80 until it sells. See, the thing is, the stuff that they pay for this stuff, like this remote as an example, they probably paid $5, probably not even that much. $5 for this remote, and they'll sell it to you and I for $100. That's why you see the 50% offs, the 70% offs, the 80% offs. Why? Because if I pay $2 for this remote and I put it on my shelf for $100, I can do a 50% off sale. I can do a 70% off sale. Why? Because I'm going to double my money anyway. See, we got to realize. See, that's why being an investor is so important, because you start thinking differently. You don't just look at something and say, I want it, I'm going to pay whatever for it. You start thinking, how much did they pay to get this on the shelf? You start valuing. You start valuing your finances. Now, I'm not going to pay $100 for this remote. I'll find somebody else that sell the same remote for a whole lot cheaper. Maybe I should look on the internet and see if I can get the same type of remote for a whole lot cheaper. I'm good. And that's what's happening right now. That's why the CPI report came out good, because when they say tariffs, drought, or whatever, the person that got the product, that's a code word to raise my prices. That's a code word. Tariffs, inflation, this, that, and the third. That's code word to the CEOs, the business owners. I can raise my prices now. Just like to the street guys. If you hear a drought, guess what that does? That gives you a code word to do what? Raise your prices. And if your consumer, aka the junkie, don't care about the money, all they care about is the product. All they care about is the product, right? And as a business owner, I know that you don't care about the price. All you care about is the product. Why? Because we have programmed your mind that when you want something, you don't care about the money. You care about the product. You care about the Jordans. You care about the cigarettes, right? You care about the Nike shirt. You care about the polo shirt. You care about the Gucci. You care about the Prada. You care about the Apple bottles. You don't care about the money. We got to get out of that. We got to understand, look, NVIDIA break, look. I told y'all, the stock market is predictable, bro. I've been talking about the VWAP all morning. We get back above this VWAP, guess what's going to happen? Buyers are starting to come in. Look, stock market is predictable, guys. All you got to know is the passcode. That's it. Now, we're waiting for this big run. We're waiting to see, can we get to 145? Now, since we are here, I'm going to darken up this line. 145. I'm going to lighten up this one. This one right here. Boom. All eyes on 145. All eyes on 145. All eyes on 145. We're coming up on 9:30. 1 hour. This stock market been open 1 hour. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen once we get to 145. But if you got in on the break of the VWAP, congratulations. $145.40. $144.47. Which we finna get ready to break that 144.47. We're about to get ready to break it. The stock market don't like odd numbers, guys. Don't like odd. See, the stock market don't like odd numbers. That's how I knew that we're going to go over that 144.47 because the stock market don't like odd numbers. Shout out to everybody that took that 144 break of the VWAP. This 144 break. Shout out to you. You good to go. 144.52. 144.50. Here we go, guys. We're coming up on 1 hour that the stock market has been open. Me so far, one trade, 8%. $144.50. Now I'm just waiting. What are you waiting on, Stock Sniper? I'm waiting on this right here. Once we get to 145, what's going to happen? That's what I'm waiting on. The break of 145. Yeah, I'm waiting on a break of 145. Let's see. Let's go to the monthly. Yeah, I'm waiting on the break of 145. After we break 145, the next, I got a lot of lines right here, guys. The next, I'm trying to figure out the next area of resistance. After we break 145, $147.80, right around 147.40. $145.50. Above, right at 145.50 is the next resistance. 145.50. $145.50, which I got to put that in there. 145. I got to put that in there. 145.50. And I got to make it super dark so I know that comes from the past. 145.50 is the next resistance. Right around 145.30 to 145.50 is the next area. After we break 145, we are above the VWAP. All systems go. All systems go above . We got a little pullback right now. Old support, no, old resistance turns into what? New support. So now that old resistance line, because we broke over it, it becomes the new support line. So here we go. 144.50 is also a resistance line. But it has to be a light resistance. Why? Because that's intraday indicator. It lets me know that 144.50 is intraday resistance. So we got to see, can we get above 144.50? See, we got 1 touch, 2 touch, strong resistance. Intraday, strong resistance at 144.50. Right at 144.50. Lower shadow. We're getting the push on up, guys. We're breaking this. We're breaking the 144.50. We're going to break it. Look at the lower shadow. The lower tail. Boom, told you. Told you. 144.60. We broke that we broke this intraday resistance. Here we go, guys. Let's keep going. We got, we 1 hour in. I'm not going to turn this green yet until we get a little bit higher. Because like I said right here, old resistance resistance turn into new support. We hit it on top of another floor. This resistance is about to turn into new support. So we over it now. I got to turn it green. That's another support line. We have broken into another channel. Moving on up. All this happened. Why? Because the break of the VWAP. Because of the break of that red line. That's the reason why all this is happening. Because once it broke that VWAP, it went from bearish. Bearish means that it's going down. We get above the we get above that VWAP line. Now we go from bearish to bullish. Bullish means that now the buyers can come in and we can push it on up. That's what that means. Bearish, we're going to push it on down. Bullish, we're going to push it on up. And if you've been watching for a minute, you know by now that you can make money if the market goes down, or you can make money if it goes up. You can go both ways as well. So now we're trying to stay right at the support. We're trying to get back and push back on up. And we are doing what? We're building higher lows. Look, touch, 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 like walking up the stairs. We're building higher lows. Stage 1 to the downside. Stage 2, bottoming out. We are now in stage 4, right? This is stage 1, the downside. Stage 2 is the leveling out of the support, which is 143.50. Now what? We're in stage 3. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Trying to push it up to the major area of 145. Can we get up there? Lower shadow right here. We got another support line. Resistance line of 144.70. 144.70. That's the next resistance. Why, Stock Sniper? Because we got the upper tail right here, and that's where we got smashed back down. That is the resistance right here. That's when the sellers came in to bring it back down. Now the buyers are trying to bounce off the support to bring it back above. That's resistance right there, the upper tail. Intraday resistance. We're trying to stay above the support to get back above 144.70. $144.60. I'm just waiting on this 145.50 right here. 145. I'm waiting on this. That's why I got that line so thick. I'm just waiting. It's still early. We only been here 1 hour. We only been here for 1 hour. Now we're facing some rejection. See? Resistance right here. Now, that's more of an accurate resistance right there. Now we're coming back where? We're coming back to this VY. We're coming back to the VY. If we get back up under this VY, we're back into bear territory. If we get back below 144.14 and up under 144. In which we're going to put another support line right here. Right at 144 even. Right there. You see how that lines up perfect? Right along with the lower tails. That's support. That's support. Low, big upper shadow, upper tail. They call wicks, but I like to call them upper tails and upper shadows. I like to call them upper tails. Can we stay above the VY for the next leg on up? The thing is, we can move these things. Now, let's see. Adjust the uptrend line. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Let's see if we can continue bouncing for the move on up in this channel right here to get back up above the 144.65. Let's see what's going to happen. With all eyes on the VWAP. Because if we get below that VWAP, we're back into bear territory. If we get below this VWAP, we're back into bear territory. Let's see what's going to happen. 144.20 is now holding up as the support line. 144.20. Look, EMAs are pointing down. Coming up across to that VWAP. I think I'm about to get my next entry, guys. If we break below this VWAP, I'm taking it down. If we break below this VWAP, my next entry is a short to the downside. Big Lord Shadow. They trying to protect this VWAP. They trying to protect it. But if we break it, that's my next entry to the downside for my second trade of the day. EMA's pointing down. Let's see what's going to happen. If we break this VWAP, got to play it close. The EMA's bolted again. There's a battle going on, though. Looks like they're trying to hold it up at 144.14. It looks like they're trying to hold it up. $144.06. It's a battle right there, right along that VWAP. They're holding the VWAP as support. They holding it up as support right here. Building a support right at the VWAP. Starting to build high lows right off the VWAP. But the thing is, we got the EMAs right here being a resistance against what's going on. But they are close together. So it'll be easier for the candle to break out above the EMAs. We're building higher lows right here. Right there. Right back at that VWAP. We up under the VWAP now. They trying to hold it up. 144.06. I think I'm going to move this support. Yeah, I'm going to move the support up a little bit right there. I'm going to change this to resistance right there. The bounce off the 144. They're trying to keep it above 144. It's 950. And it's holding up right along this VWAP. Let's see what the S&P 500 is doing. Moving up. Tesla is up under the VWAP. The S&P 500 is well above the VWAP. NVIDIA is trying to hold up at the VWAP. A bunch of wishy-washy at the VWAP line. Very crucial. Very, very crucial. They're trying to hold it up. The EMAs are getting tighter and tighter with the move down. The EMAs are getting tighter and tighter with this move down. The EMAs are finna collide with the VWAP. See, it's getting tighter and tighter. I think we're gonna get a good drop. Upper tail. We got an upper tail. Man, it's holding, bro. How many minutes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've been moving sideways for 10 minutes. Holding up this VWAP line for 10 minutes. Look like the Bulls are winning. We're back above the VWAP, and now we're above resistance. We're back inside of the uptrend line, trying to see if we can move it on up. Good hold up by the Bulls. Good hold up by the Bulls. They did not let the Bears take over to drop this thing down. Now they need more buyers coming in. Now they need more buyers to come in. Man, this move right here on this VWAP line, that was intense, bro. That's intense. That was intense. $9.53. That wishy-washy up, down, I really don't like that. Now we're back at the VWAP. We need a clear break of 144. A clear break to the downside. And we're not getting it. We're not getting it. So that trade, that short to the downside is out of play right now. It's holding up that VWAP. We need a clear break of 144. To get a move, a real move to the downside, we need a clear break of 144. Now we're starting to move sideways. We're moving sideways now. As of right now, we're moving sideways. buyers are steady trying to take this thing up, though. They trying. It's a battle. It's a battle. I still got my entry loaded, though. I still got my short loaded to the downside, but we got to break the resist. We got to break the VWAP, and we got to break this support. But I'm locked and loaded. If we can get down here and break this, I'm ready to rock and roll. All I got to do is click the button. But the buyers are holding it up real good. They holding right now. And we basically going sideways. The S&P 500 moving up. See, the S&P 500 is well above the VWAP. The S&P 500 the S&P 500 bounced off this VWAP. See this lower tail at the VWAP line and been moving up ever since. Here we go. Okay, so my shorts is off the table. It looks like we have established a support bounce off of the VWAP, and we're trying to make a move on up. So now I can go back to my original plan, which is to move up to 145. Since we established a support right here, as of right now, we got a support right here. Now we got to try to move on up. Now we got to try to move on up. That's the thing about these lines. Like I keep switching them, they change. As you go on, as the day goes by, it changes all through the day. But we need the S&P, we need NVIDIA to basically to follow the SPY. And like the SPY got this good bounce on this lower shadow to get well above the VWAP so the buyers can come in. We need that over here. Let's see what Tesla got going on. Tesla's coming off an M-shaped pattern. Let's see about Facebook. That's Facebook moving sideways. Amazon. No, that's AMD. Amazon basically moving sideways. Let's look at Google. Shout out to YouTube. It's up under the VWAP, getting rejected at the VWAP. Rejection on the way down. Bears in control over here. I mean the Bears are control over here. You get right up here to the VWAP, short. Get up to the VWAP, short. Get up to the VWAP, short. Get up to the VWAP upper shadow, short. Here we go. We're back up under the uptrend line, trying to come right back where? To the VWAP. Well, we moving sideways right now, man. I don't like that. I want either a breakdown of the VWAP or I want a breakout of the 145. Right now, we're moving sideways. Okay, let's see if we're going to get back down into this VWAP. Nope. Lower shadow. And look at Amazon. Shout out to Amazon. NVTS. I'm looking for this to be the next NVIDIA. NVTS. $9 now. After moving up. After moving up from $1.50, a $2 stock is now $9. I got this AI company on my radar. It has went from $2 to $9. And how long? In 2 weeks, went from $2 to $9. Now let's get back over here. I thought I had it on the watch list, bro. Yes, I do. I got it on the watch list. This, in my opinion, is going to be the next NVIDIA. It's $9 a share right now, but it came from $1.50 to $2. $2 a share, and now it's $9 a share. That's the next NVIDIA, in my opinion. Another AI company. Okay, nothing is going on right now. A bunch of sideways, and it's 10 o'clock. You know, I try to keep my trading in between 8:30 and 9:30, but I extended it just a little bit today because I was really looking for the breakdown of the VWAP or the breakout of the 145, which we still might get a little bit later. We still might get a little bit later, but we got powerful resistance. Resistance is at 144.70 right here. We got to get above that. So I'm going to stay a little bit longer to see if I can get this second trade in on the short side on the this VWAP breakdown up under 144. But we're going sideways. We've been sideways for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, for 25 minutes. Almost 30 minutes. We've been sideways. So, but one thing we know about NVIDIA, it can move at any given second. That's why I haven't left yet. Here come the buyers. Okay, here we go. How long this gonna last? One green candle and a bunch of up downs for another 20 or 30 minutes. Well, I think that's it for me, guys. It's nothing but a bunch of up downs. One trade for me, 8%, almost doubled my daily goal. So that's it for me, guys. I was looking for the breakdown of this VWAP. It's not happening right now. Or the breakout of the 145. It's not happening right now. So I appreciate y'all for joining me. Everybody that's been liking the videos, everybody that's been commenting and subscribing and sharing the videos, I really, really appreciate y'all. Everybody that's just watching, just to watch, I appreciate you. Share the video. Share the video to somebody else. This is a great skill to learn. You know, if it ain't for you, maybe it's for your kid, your bro. This can change the whole trajectory of your family. Straight up. It's a great tool to have in the toolbox. The stock market is an ATM machine. All you got to know is the password. The password is long, but it's great to have in the toolbox. That's how you go from broke to living paycheck to paycheck, from living paycheck to paycheck to the middle class, and go from the middle class to being rich and free financially and emotionally and spiritually, because none of this is dang. Look at that breakdown. Told y'all. Woo! What a breakdown to end the day. What a breakdown to end the day. What a breakdown. That's why preparing, understanding how these charts move, understanding how the charts move, and guess what? We get the breakdown to end the day. Right when I was about to leave. Right when I was about to leave. Home run action to end the day. Bro, I told you, this stock market is predictable. All you got to know is the passcode. That's it. I had my orders the whole time, ready to rock and roll with this short. Looking for the break of what? 144. I've been saying that for 25 minutes. And guess what? We got the trade of the day. 35% on that trade right there. Sitting back like the sniper I am. That, my friend, is how I got the name the Stock Sniper. I was sitting back like a sniper. I had my scope on that VWAP, on that 144, and I was like this. The break of 144, while I was running my mouth, the whole time my fingers on the mouse. While I'm running my mouth, my trigger finger was right on the mouse. And I seen that break of 144, pull the trigger. Woo! Bro, what a great day. Now, it's time for me to move around. Appreciate y'all for joining me. 704 Wall Street is my block. 704 Wall Street is my block. Earn, spend less, and invest. And with that being said, I'm the one and only Stock Sniper. To the walk down, I'm out.